7:59.
Yeah, all right, it's close enough for us. Move on. Meeting will come to order. Good evening. Thanks for coming. We've got a pretty full agenda, so let's get started. Let's start with an NOI for 45 Southwood. Darren, would you do the honors? And I'll read the notice. According to the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Wetlands Protection Act, there will be a hearing on a notice of intent by Alan and Donna Rink to construct a single-family dwelling with on-site septic system and a well with associated grading within the 100-foot buffer zone of a bordering vegetated wetland. Location of the project is 45 Southworth, 25/01/017. Public hearing be held on Tuesday, September 10th at 7 p.m.
All right, good evening, Darren McHale from Foresight here on behalf of the Rinks. They've owned this property for quite some years now. 45 Southworth is the cranberry bogs with the utility building out in front. Now with the zoning change, they were able to create a lot inside the lot itself to build the house in the upland area in the back. So that was Form A off earlier this year, and now we're proposing to build the dwelling. We show the house here on this embankment. This is a pretty tall hill. It's almost 20 feet tall, so we're building the house as a walkout facing the pond for them. Very little disturbance other than some fill behind the house to put the septic in the pump tank so we're not in the water table. And we're then pumping right along the tree line that's out there. And just inside the tree line, we're putting the septic system. I know when you look at the property, it looks like, why don't you put it out in the field? But they literally cut that entire slope right to the tree line, and that's all the bog grindings or whatever they scrape off the bog every year. We dug down 14 feet and never got through it. So that entire grass area out there is just going to remain grass forever. We're not taking down any more trees than we have to put the septic in. And we've got everything pretty much outside the 50-foot buffer. You can see this red line is our 100-foot buffer, so I didn't have a lot to stay out of. But everything's outside the 50, and we've just got the long row of silt fence along the force main for the pump. And other than that, it's pretty clear cut. Everything else is already disturbed out there at some point. If anyone has any questions.
Okay. There's a stump pile?
Yeah, right off to the back here.
Yeah. Okay.
That'll probably be removed during the construction of the house. I doubt they'd want that right behind their house. So I would assume that would be removed. I think that was all the scrapings from the bog areas, so.
That's what I figured. That's got to be an awfully windy location with all that open.
Yeah, right in front, there's about 800 feet of open land right in front of them all the way to McCoy.
That little channel that goes to where the septic system goes, and it's got to come roaring down there.
Yep.
But, all right, so does anyone have any questions? Give us a minute to
Yeah, no problem.
think it over. How deep did you say the water table was in that location?
We didn't hit water table in my perk test, I don't believe at all. No, everything was dry. So the pond is pretty much the groundwater table. We're 4 feet above that with the bottom of the house.
Okay.
And we're about 15 feet above that with our septic system.
Closer to the septic leaching field.
Yep.
You've got a high ground just to the right of it.
Yes.
Below that, it appears, and it's really tough to tell from the
Yeah,
little
it's a
plan,
gully.
that it goes down and then, does it go back up to the
Yes.
pond?
Yeah, it's almost like someone dug a channel right there, and it's
But
only
that's
like
dry?
it's dry. Yeah, bone dry. It's like they took out some gravel but didn't take it all out down
Yeah.
to the water table. It's high and dry, and then we shot all the low points all the way down. It's definitely just a skinny little channel. Someone decided to take some dirt out at one point.
And I noticed you broke the silt fence 2 separate lines,
Yeah.
just because of the regrading in front of the house?
Yep,
Just to get a
behind,
little
yeah,
further
that's the
away?
actual back of the house, so that'll be just for the walkout. So we're just taking some of that hill that we cut out the house and just pushing it to the back so they walk out and don't have a 3-foot drop right out of the house.
Is there any chance we could just get you to connect Just take the
Just this,
uppers, the leaching field line and just bring it down
Yep.
to the grading line there?
Yeah,
just
we
so
can
it's-
definitely do that for you.
no break in it?
That's all treed right there, so that's why I didn't really show that, because this right here is all wide open.
Yep.
But right where this green is, that's all woods right now, so.
Even if you just could come
Yep.
straight vertically down, I don't want you to take trees down
Yep, that's fine.
if it doesn't make
They'll
sense.
come right down the slope there where they're joining in. And the driveway's already existing, it's already the gravel access road, so they won't be paving it or doing any more construction on the road itself.
Do you have any other comments, Mr. Chair?
No,
I'm good.
I'm good. Anyone else? Guess we've got a deal. Who wants to, we'll hear a motion.
Motion to approve the NOI for 45 Southwest Street and issue an order of conditions with a special, all our standard special conditions.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, guys.
That's about as rough a lot as.
Have a good night.
I know.
I hope.
Yeah, let's hope. All right, so let's take care of some.
I didn't get a chance to go through all the mailings. I brought a pen, I have a pencil here. Signing. All of the certified mailings are in order. Perfect. And you did leave a copy.
An extra one? Okay.
Posting if you want that.
All right. Thank you. Let's see, next, we have 26 Dunbar.
Thank you.
And according to the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Wetlands Protection Act, there will be a hearing on a notice of intent by Michael Mastrangelo to install a new 18 by 36 in-ground swimming pool with associated apron, grading, and landscaping within a 100-foot buffer, 100 feet of Long Pond and within an associated flood zone, AE-57, to Long Pond. Location of the project is 26 Dunbar Road, Lakeville, map 039, block 005, lot 021. Public hearing be held on Tuesday, September 10th. Good evening.
Good evening. For the record now, Jaeger from Zenith Consulting Engineers on behalf of Michael Mastrangelo. So what we're here before you, as you can see, is they want to put in an in-ground pool, an 18 by 36 in-ground pool. And it is within 100 feet of Long Pond as well as within the flood zone of elevation 57. So the location is where the Mastrangelos would like it. We situated it in a location where a small portion of the grading, in order to get it up above the water table and not have that liner float, we had to pick the site up and pick that pool up. So as you can see, we have some 3-to-1 grading around that. We have an associated patio, apron around it for access as well. So in doing so, what that does, not only is it disturbance within the 100 foot, but it is within the flood zone. And when you have work within a flood zone, you have to create what's called compensatory storage. So any filling that you do, you have to compensate it somewhere else on site. So anything that's within this elevation 57, what we've done is we've created this area here where they'll have to carve out some material in order to compensate for that volume that's displaced. So that's what you see there. Besides that, everything is outside of the flood zone and no work there. As far as vegetation goes, there's only 2 trees that need to be taken down. The rest of the trees, and is either a lawn area or the remaining trees will stay. What else did I have? So this is the 100-foot buffer zone in the green here. The yellow is the flood zone, the associated flood zone, and the red is the 25-foot. So as you can see, no work is being done within the 25-foot. We are proposing a silt sock to encompass this entire area to ensure that nothing gets into that pond. We're tying it right into the existing patio, and everything that is gonna be connected to that patio here. Besides that, I think, oh, and we are showing a dewatering basin in case there is any issues with, water table and having to dewater it. They'll have this dewatering basin for during construction period. Oh, and another thing I want to bring up is I know a lot of times when I propose these pools within resource area, the question is the backwash filtering system. What they're proposing is a cartridge system. So it has no backwash. It's just you basically take it out, hose it off, replace it, and that's it. So there shouldn't be any concern about that backwash and what it may do in the future. So that's something else that we've looked into and you'll feel comfortable with. So be happy to answer any questions.
Can I speak?
Go ahead.
The FEMA, the flood zone line
Yes.
cuts through part of what looks like you're grading to bring up to the pool excavation.
Correct.
Because the level of the pool deck is higher than the existing grade.
That's correct.
The volume that you carve out is basically equal to the additional soil that you're grading out, or the entire pool area? Just what's in the flood zone line?
Only what's within that flood zone.
So it's not a big area.
It's not. It's only the elevation 57. Anything below elevation 57 needs to be compensated for.
And how deep's the pool? Is it an 8-foot pool?
No, it's only gonna be anywhere from a 5 to a 6 foot deep pool.
So you're really almost not going below existing grade because of the amount you're coming up, maybe 2 feet or so?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually dug a hole out there to confirm water table, and it was actually down about 4 feet, amazingly. I'm sure it comes up higher than that at points in the season, and that's why we're gonna keep it up. But as far as we're modeling where water was at the time I was out there, was around 4 feet. So, and we're only proposing it to go a couple feet in the ground.
And if we grant approval, what's the timeline for the client, do you know?
They're looking to get it done as soon as possible.
This season.
They're looking to get it done this season, absolutely.
They have a pool guy lined up, not that you know that.
No, they actually do. We've been in, we had a sit down, they're gonna be using McGonigal pools. They are gonna be the ones they install. I actually sat with them, and we had concerns about water table and construction process and things that we all talked about, the filtering system. These are all things that we sat down and talked about before we got here, before we
So
came in.
obviously, we'd just be concerned about stabilization,
Absolutely.
just because we're getting close to, obviously, it's ideal grass growing season now,
Correct.
but if this goes on for 2 months, it's kind of tough to stabilize that hillside.
100%
Is that
agree.
something that's taken into consideration?
Yeah, I mean, we can always lay down some sort of a hay mat or something, a filter fabric, something to stabilize if it doesn't end up. But again, that silt sock's not supposed to come up until that's fully stabilized. So that's something we could put it as a special condition.
Yeah, client knows that.
Yo,
It's
absolutely.
just-
It's
I know,
absolutely a
and you
great
know,
concern.
just with the person living there, the last thing you wanna do is step over a silt sock every day they go out and look at the lake. But we just want to make sure that, the bank is stabilized before that gets pulled.
100% agree, because I mean, there's a significant amount of water that does come down here as well. I mean, it's a decent sized
pitch.
hill, so it does, yes.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. It looks like Dunbar Road contributes a good share of runoff onto your site.
It's your typical private way with country drainage, with basically no drainage, and everything just runs off. So that's a valid concern and something that needs to be taken in.
I was gonna say, you're gonna try and do something to divert it before it gets on?
It is not really, I mean, you can't infiltrate it, they're not the greatest soils, water tables, like I said, it's not, could try, but you could do something to try to slow it down, like do some sort of a riprap apron or something like that, but I don't think, that's not gonna really solve the problem. And again, I don't even think it's gonna be a problem. The silt sock that we're proposing is a 12 to 18 inch, it's not the 8 inch, it's the 12 to 18. So it's blown in, it's a lot thicker, it's a lot heavier, you can't move it by hand. So it is a much more heavy duty erosion control.
Now, is that existing patio the same elevation as the proposed patio?
Within about 6 inches or so,
Okay.
yes.
So it sits up above the ground?
That's correct.
Right.
Yes, it
So when
does.
you're returning that silt sock to that patio, there's a stop point right there?
That's correct.
Do you know, does the applicant have an irrigation system that would help to restabilize that if they planted grass?
That I don't know. I can find out. I wouldn't be able to answer that.
Okay. All of the mailings are in order.
Very good.
And I have a Natural Heritage, did you hear back from them, or?
No, we have not heard back from Natural Heritage. Again, this is one of those scenarios where you're working within an existing landscaped area.
Yep.
So I did pay, the client did pay the fee.
Formality to send it to them.
We did. And we also usually said, what we do is we send a letter saying that it's within an existing landscaped area and that we feel it's exempt, but we let them confirm that before.
And you also
assume.
sent to DEP?
That's correct.
Same type of a formality, just to let them know what's going on?
Well, yeah, DEP, that's our, so we can get our file number with the fee.
Yeah.
So that's why.
We have a copy of it in the file.
Yes, yeah, that just came in today. Excuse me.
This is good.
That's everything, and it is in order.
Okay.
All right, would you entertain a motion?
I will.
This is an NOI, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, motion to approve the NOI and issue an order of conditions for the swimming pool at 26 Dunbar Road, as shown on the plan.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hang on to it. I got an extra. Okay.
Thank you. These are all for 1 Moana Street?
Yes.
Yeah, all right, you good? Oh. All right, next, we have another NOI for 1 Moana Street. According to the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, there will be a hearing on a notice of intent by Beatrice E. Daggett, Revocable Trust, for the removal of existing cesspool and install a new 1,500-gallon septic tank and a 1,000-gallon pump chamber within the 100 feet of Wang Pond, and re-drill a new private water supply well in approximately the same location as the previous. Location of the project is 1 Moana Street, Lakeville, map 039, block 001, lot 001 also. Public hearing be held on Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Good evening. For the record, now Jaeger from Zenith Consulting Engineers. So this is a little bit of a tricky septic repair. For anybody that's been to the site, it slopes significantly from Moana Street to Wang Pond. There's about a 30-foot drop there. And if you've been out there, there's a bunch of terraced walls and not a lot of room to work. So this one's a little bit of an interesting one. What they have is right now they have basically a cesspool that comes out the back of the towards Long Pond and is sitting there. It's been there for 50 plus years and has been, of course, working great until until they had to go replace it, so. What we're proposing is, we did a perk test right up on the Moana Street side, and we're getting that septic, we're doing a Presby septic system underneath the driveway, a portion of it under the driveway, and a portion of it in the existing landscaped area. And luckily, we found good soils without a water table issue, which was definitely beneficial in this situation. So we were able to get that leaching field outside the 100-foot buffer to the pond, which is something that we always try to do if we can. Unfortunately, because of where the plumbing comes out, there was no way to reroute it and get it, away from the pond. So we had to basically tie in that existing plumbing. We're proposing, a septic tank and a pump chamber and pumping up to that Presby leaching field. And in conjunction with that, my client has been having concerns about his water. He's in discussion right now with a well company to try to figure out, or a company that will actually come in and try to fix it without having to re-drill it. But I told him we should probably file for it in case it does need to be done. So it's something that may be necessary, but it is part of this proposal. Besides that, no other work. We have the erosion control right on the low end here. There's actually a portion of the deck that needs to come down in order for us to even be able to put these in. So as you can see, it's very tight. We're basically running that force main up this side of the property here, through all those stone retaining walls, and up into that leaching field. So I think as far as this one goes, it's the best case scenario. It's better than the situation that we have right now of a cesspool that's within about 25 feet to the Long Pond water supply. So now we've at least gotten it further away.
Did the Board of Health sign off?
No, we're actually, I believe it is next Wednesday we're in front of them.
Because you're getting a variance, right, for the...
We're getting multiple variances.
Okay.
Yes. But again, I mean, you can make it conditional upon that Board of Health approval, but I mean, typically the Board of Health is, I mean, they're gonna typically grant these, in my experience. I don't know if they have much of a choice.
I don't see, and I may be missing it, silt retention barrier of some sort on the plan.
It's right here. There's a proposed silt sock right below the tanks. Hopefully it's on your plan.
Yeah, there's a proposed silt sock, but it only goes halfway across the yard, is that right?
That's correct, because there's basically, there's a wall right here with the steps that go down from the deck.
Similar to the last one.
So actually very similar to the last one, yes. Do you see it now, Mark?
Yeah, it almost looks, is that part of retaining wall almost, or part of?
Yeah, that's
right on it's almost in line with the retaining wall?
That's correct.
All right.
That's correct.
Why I can't, it's not two lines, and I'm picking up some arrows, go to retaining wall, some are.
Yeah, it's a little tight in there.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of an understatement. I don't think two people could walk side by side down those steps.
Yeah, it's tight.
It's going to be tough to get any kind of drill rig in there.
Yeah, they're hoping that they can be able to make it work without having to redo, do anything with it other than maybe a new filtering system and maybe a new pump or something of that nature.
I think what we'd like to say is, assuming we go ahead and approve this, is that when you are ready to drill the well, that you have a plan that you can run by us, especially with any discharge, given the steepness of the slope and everything else, the tightness of the location.
Absolutely. You can make that a condition, absolutely.
Do you have any backup sites for a well? Nothing else?
To be honest with you, my client wanted to put it right in the front of the house. The problem with that is it doesn't get you 50 feet from the septic system. We've already pinned that septic system.
Yeah.
We're actually only 2 feet from the property line. You can see we've pinned everything. We just gave them as much room as they could, but we're only 2 feet from that property line. And we can't get 50 feet from that well, which the Board of Health is really gonna be hesitant to give, especially for a new drilled well.
Yeah. How Do you know how deep the current one is?
I believe, I'm going by what I was told, but I was told that it is about 200 plus feet.
Really? I'm surprised. Other questions, comments?
Do you have any other things to say to it?
No, I was there today, so I got a first-hand look at what he was talking about.
It just slopes right down to the pond?
Yeah, it's the steepness of the slope and the tightness of the space. Those are my only two concerns, which you've addressed.
And we clearly like to see these improvements to septic and things like that.
You're gonna have to take some of the steps out to put to drill the well. What about the remaining steps? Are they gonna be removed and replaced, or? There's a
Yeah.
series of concrete steps.
That's correct. Yeah, they may end up having to talk, because there's a right of way here. They may end up, if this even ends up happening, they may end up having to talk to the association to get access down that right of way to get in there and bust out the retaining wall to do that. But that's not something, again, for now, that's not even part of, I mean, it's hopefully not going to happen. If it does, like I said, and as you requested, we will come before you with a plan of attack and show you exactly what we're looking to do.
All right.
We're hoping we don't have to go that route.
So if that was the route, just because I want to put it in a motion, if they needed to access down the right-of-way to make adjustments to the retaining wall, I don't think we want them to refile.
No.
Is it something we would just request notification or an amended NOI?
I guess it would depend on the extent.
Severity?
Yeah, so we could always go the amended route if we had to, but
Notification.
otherwise just notification.
So if I make a motion, it's going to be a notification
That'll be good enough.
only?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Would you entertain a motion?
Yes, I will.
So I'd make a motion to approve the NOI and issue an order of conditions for 1 Moana Street for the subsurface sewage disposal system and the possibility of drilling a new well, with the approval subject to a well drilling plan with any dewatering or additional erosion requirements, depending on change of location or other field conditions at that time. And also the condition that if the retaining wall needed to be compromised to do this work, you'd notify us, and if we needed to have you put some erosion control there, we would see the same.
Good, well said.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
And everything was there as well.
Good.
Oh, Niles.
Yes.
Not reopening the hearing or anything, but, I noticed you had a mailing for the treasurer collector on that one. Is that anything to do with a tax lien or anything? Or? They're not on a butter, but it was on the list both in the packet and there.
Do you want to hold it, and I'll actually find out what that's about. It could just be a mistake, but I can find out.
Yeah, I mean, it's in your list also in the
I think it's
filing,
part of isn't that part of a building permit now?
but it's not in any of the filings. In the other two that I looked at, that wasn't there, so it just triggered on this one. I don't know if it's a new thing or.
Well, it doesn't say, it's not on the abutters list, you're saying on.
It is on the abutters list on this one, but it's the first abutters list tonight that I've seen it on.
I got you.
I've seen it once before and I can't place it.
So just curious,
I don't know.
just let the board know why it might be there.
To be honest with you, I don't know.
Okay.
Couldn't even answer that question.
Yep. Give it to my,
Thank you.
all right, so this is the plan, so we need to vote on accepting it, so do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the revised plan for 12 Dunbar.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, do we have a filing for the next executive?
Yeah, not with me.
Okay. So I'm just gonna keep.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Rick Sharon, Sharon Associates Engineers on behalf of the owners of 12 Dunbar, Darrell and Kelly Fess. We're at the high end of Dunbar now. You saw the low end two meetings earlier. This is about 20 feet above Long Pond at this point, well out of that flood zone, that 57-foot flood zone. We're actually up at elevation 77, up where the property is. As you mentioned last time, it's the proposal is to raise the existing house, old 1930s era house, not well maintained, in a state of disrepair, and to replace it with a new structure. The septic system had been approved for the old house, going back a year or so back when it was in the prior owner's hands, who was deceased. It's now been sold, and the people purchasing this want to proceed and rebuild a new house. So we have work, of course, within the buffer zone, the yellow line across here. When we met last time, we were talking primarily about for some reason, the layer that showed the hay bales was not turned on. I think Mr. LeBlanc picked that out. So we had pointed out to where the hay bale siltation barrier was, but you couldn't see it, it wasn't printed. So we have that on this plan here. We've also added some down at the foot of the stairs. And as requested, we've looked into the means of supporting this new stairway. The existing stairway that goes down there appears that the 4x4s are just dug right into the sand in the bank. They're not sitting on sonotubes or anything. So, and yet it's surprisingly stable. I mean, I guess the fact that it just runs up the hill with so many posts in it, it's tied it together, so it's held up. But what we're proposing, frankly, the owner has asked me to leave the option of using sonotubes, but it's just going to be, to my thinking, difficult to get concrete up and down this slope. You know, bring it down in 5-gallon buckets. We've said no mechanical equipment to be used here. It's going to be handwork. So what we're suggesting that he look at as an option here is to use the easy post, which is the augers, which can be turned in. We've used these on marsh crossings where we're trying to put walkways across a marsh and you can't get a bobcat out there. You can get two guys on one of these things with just a pipe on the top of it and just turn it. It augers its way down into the hillside, and then it's got a bracket at the top of it that'll accept a 4x4 pressure-treated post. So something like this would be the least disturbance and certainly the easiest project to put in. So he did ask me, however, to leave him the option of the sonotube, but why he would want to do that when he's got the other option, I'm not. I tend to think reason will take over here and we'll go with the easy fix, which is
They'll try to dig one.
that's true. When he does the first one, he'll decide the easy post is a much better way to go. So those are the changes that you have on the plan that you accepted earlier from what we presented 2 weeks ago. We did also receive just today, in fact, the letter from the Fish and Wildlife, the Natural Heritage folks.
Okay.
So I don't know if that came through to your website, but basically it says no, does not constitute a take and will not adversely impact the area.
Yeah, I don't know if we received one back. Is this for us?
Yes.
Yeah. We want to look at it?
As you know, we did.
There's no list of abutters.
No?
That's all.
That's all I got.
Okay. And we had received a file number 2 weeks ago. We'd already had that on hand. So I think this was one of the few items that was left.
What was it? Did you again?
How are you?
Take a look at that. You were going to look at also, not hay bales, but No, there was something else we had asked them to do besides the stairs. Was it to move the hay bales or the,
No, his layering
Line?
didn't show this line,
Right.
which he has on here now.
okay.
It wasn't visible
And
on the earlier
then
plan.
he also shows, it's kind of convoluted with all the different, the dock stairs, everything going on, but he has
Uh-huh.
some erosion control down here as well.
Alright.
So those two items are on this plan.
A little easier to see it on the bigger plan, but there is a lot going on down there with the stairs.
Maybe if I looked at the plan, it would be easier.
Now, we didn't go completely across the bottom slope because most of that vegetation is not being disturbed, but there's an area probably about 10 to 12 feet wide that was showing the hay bales at the base of the new stairway.
Yeah, so the dock's 40 feet.
And they're applying to the state to DEP for the dock?
They'll be going for a Chapter 91 license, yes.
I'm just laughing at the size of the font
Oh,
in your title thing there. The proposed house is very small, the sub-sewage disposal is very large.
well, we started out with a septic repair. I think that's why we didn't scale it down as we added more and more things into it.
But it's all in the plan, so when we
Yeah.
approve. So you're gonna have a new garage,
Yes.
a new proposed dwelling, septic system, you're drilling a new well, or is the existing well,
It's a new well. Yes.
and a new set of stairs, so it's pretty much all new.
And we had talked earlier at the last meeting about removing those large pine trees at the top of the crest, but stump grinding. I think we're going to put a condition there that we do stump grinding for that.
Want to see the larger plan? It's a little easier to read.
And if anyone is interested and finished the count,
Already?
yeah, well, it was only one question. And it was overwhelmingly defeated.
Really? Surprise. What was the total vote, do you know?
Overwhelmingly?
Yeah, overwhelmingly. I think the total vote was around maybe 700 people.
That many? Really?
Yeah.
We were,
There was 265 in my precinct, precinct 3 that I counted. I think most people feel we should be improving the roads for the sake of the commuters who drive through at 12 miles an hour over the speed limit.
yeah.
There's a lot to be said for bumpy roads. Every time you pave one, the speed limit, the speed
It
goes up,
changes.
8%.
Mm-hmm. Take out the curves and the
Oh, yeah, straighten it out, yep.
ruts.
Would you entertain a motion, Mr. Chair?
Yes, I would.
And make a motion to close the hearing, approve the NOI in order of conditions for 12 Dunbar for the proposed dwelling, septic system, garage, well, stairs, and dock, as shown on the plan.
Do we have a motion, do we have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
And thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the call earlier today, because I'd have been sitting out here at 7 o'clock.
We didn't want that to happen.
I appreciate that.
Thanks, good night. So, I just,
Put all those together.
I'll leave
Yeah.
those, and
Yeah, that's fine.
this is yours. You gave to me, so maybe you have a copy in the office.
There.
Oh.
Do that back too.
We have to vote to accept that drawing, right?
The new plan, yeah, here's.
I make a motion, we accept the new plan for 139 Staple Shore Drive.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Make sure I get this put away. All right, so next is the RDA for 139 Staples Shore. According to the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Wetlands Protection Act, there will be a hearing on a request for determination of applicability by Madeline Maxey for the construction of a 15 by 20-foot two-story shed within the 100-foot buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. Location of the project is 139 Staples Shore Road, map 064, block 003, lot 008. Public hearing will be held on September 10th at 7 p.m.
Two-story shed? Is this a she shed?
Somebody had to say it.
I had to say it.
How about?
I don't have a presentation because I'm just kind of, she asked me to bring the plan to you guys because she actually was away on vacation.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know too much about this, but I'll try to answer whatever questions I can.
Well, give us a minute, because most of the members haven't seen the new plan or any plan.
I heard about it.
Okay.
I was at a ZBA meeting and I heard about it. So I guess I'd like to speak to it.
Yeah.
Vehicle storage possible in the first floor of the outbuilding?
I don't think so. I think it's just going to be storage for her lawnmower, things like that.
Could you go to the podium, please, just to identify yourself?
Derek Maxey, 1 Crooked Lane.
Thank you. So there wouldn't be vehicle storage. And the reason, as devil's advocate, that if I see a septic system in front, a retaining wall, I would assume that if there was an access road, that it would be what I would call to the right side of the septic system to go around there. Just, if
Yeah, the
there
right
was
side
gonna be
is-
something, I'd want to see it, if there was a non-permeable driveway that would want it on the plan.
No, I don't think she has any plans for that. Right now, there's actually a tree that blocks access to get to the back of that with a vehicle between her and her neighbor. And it's all grass right there. This is just something, she had a shed there before, and it's a little bit smaller, but she wanted to, on her side of the property is not a lot of room. Her garage itself is where she parks her car, but that's all she can fit. So she just wants to be able to put all her tools and things like that out there.
It's in line with the other, there's 2 garages up there too, one on each side.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we're not judging that as much as just the impact to the wetlands. It's got a silt fence.
Yeah.
It is close, but
Yeah, it's well within the inside of the buffer zone.
Yeah, they don't show it, but the other shed was right in that area.
Was that a little bit off to the right?
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
so.
have you been to the site?
Yes.
Is it a relatively flat
Yeah,
grade here?
it's very flat,
Slight-
except,
Well, slight slope to the back.
yeah, once you get to the
Yeah.
wetland line, then it slopes off a little bit, but not significantly.
So it's only a little over 11 feet from the corner of the shed to the
Yeah, it's
wetland
very-
flag. But as long as it's relatively low sloped and the silt fence is in place, it should be fine. If this was approved, when would construction start, do you know?
I believe she has one more meeting with the zoning board.
Yeah,
I
there's
believe,
one next
And then
week.
probably as soon as that's done, she'll start on it.
Yeah, they asked us to comment again on part of that review process.
Right.
We assume that entrance is here.
I believe so, yes. Joe's pointing to the right
Yeah,
side.
right side.
So it doesn't show an elevation for that bordering vegetated wetland in the back. Is that actually higher than the elevation around the house, like 58?
Higher than the house?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
west
is it all
elevation we
pitching this
see
way
is
towards-
58.
No, well, Joe said it went back. Well, both, they said,
Because you got 57
Actually-
line in front of the septic.
John?
Yeah,
that
John.
lot dotted line is at 55.
Oh, it is?
Yep. Upper left-hand corner of the plan.
Still not, oh, all right, yep. Okay. That answers my question.
You saw me doing this?
Yeah.
You gotta do this to all plans.
Yeah.
No, I see it
Read
now.
everything. Information comes in from different angles.
And am I missing it, or is there a driveway associated with the,
No.
No, there's no driveway.
so there's not gonna be any paving, no stone?
Nope, she has, it's all grass right there.
Just gonna stay grass?
Yes.
Okay. And is that? And it's none of our business, I'm just curious, what about utilities? You put electricity out there?
I think she was thinking of electricity. That was the only thing she was
So you
thinking.
might have to dig a trench
Or go overhead
or
from.
go overhead,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, if she does electricity, it's probably gonna be like a 20 amp circuit or something, just to give it powerful lights.
Or a door, a garage door opener.
Garage door opener, yeah.
Let me see. Does it matter to you if we're consistent? You want it referred to as a shed, a garage, a barn,
What does she have it as?
Proposed garage.
proposed garage?
I'm not sure how to answer that one.
Yeah. Well, maybe she could get back to me.
Yes, yeah,
It-
absolutely.
It sounds kind of petty, but DEP sometimes sends these back to us, and they say, well, is it one or the other?
Yep.
Decide. And I'm just trying to avoid,
Okay.
so let me know if.
And at
she
one
has a
point
preference.
during the initial ZBA hearing, she referred to it as a dwelling,
Yeah.
which again makes a big difference.
Mhm.
Is she calling it a shed or a garage?
She should.
Shed.
Two
I think
different-
she referred to it mostly as a shed.
Yeah, the original filing was a shed. And, yeah, just to be consistent and avoid problems down the line. All right, anybody else then, comments? All right, I'll hear a motion.
Well, I'll make, it's an IDA, right?
Somebody's
So,
got
I'll make a motion to close the hearing. And what is it?
It's a negative three.
-3 determination for 139 Staple Shore Road.
No other condition, I don't, we didn't discuss any conditions, right? I don't think so.
Just that would be followed as planned without a access driveway of,
Yeah,
of non-permeable nature.
okay. All right, so all in favor, do I have a second?
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
You good?
I got out of this with safe, I guess, huh?
Who seconded? Rich?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, I think we've held you up long enough. Why don't you, let me pass out your,
So you brought us pictures, Mike?
Yes.
Okay.
My wife was nice enough to do it for
Yep, that's mud, all right.
me. Yeah, that used to be 4 to 5 feet deep. And it's now filled with nothing but mud over the
That
last
is awful.
year.
I will say one thing. You know that I have 2 ponds on my property. Both, right now, are extremely low. I'm not sure where the water went, considering how much we had in spring and early summer to contribute to all the green growth we've had.
Yeah.
I think the green growth must have sucked it all up, because my pond, my gathering pond is down to next to nothing.
Really?
And my mill pond is very low.
Because the lake's still high.
Lake's still high.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know why.
But this is now to the point where it's just a couple inches below the swale pipes, and it used to be, like I said, 4 to 5 feet deep, and it's coming from the runoff up top from the construction, which is part of the reason why we talked about last time, my land is getting flooded.
Now, why is this backing up on your land?
It's being, when,
Because aren't you higher than?
no, not my land across the street, because I own across the
Oh,
street.
oh, that's,
Across the
your
street,
former
yes.
mom's house,
Yes.
okay, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
All that land is
You're
getting.
way up on the hill, I guess.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
It's one, where it's coming from is Hickory Lane, is that correct?
I guess that's, is that
Yeah, I think that's Hickory,
That
yeah,
little
where
short
Maroney's
stretch.
building the
Right.
the five
Yeah,
houses.
in between
yeah.
the two elbows.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. They hit the springs up there and there's constant
It's
flow of
still-
water.
it's still-
and-
yeah.
Yeah,
That
Well,
just,
that's where all that's coming from.
It's all water-bearing ledge. The minute you get into it, the water's just rolling out of there.
But I mean, when I was a kid, I used to sit there with the fishing rod. Now it's completely plugged up.
well, their building permit is under review right now, and I sent a comment to the inspector that I thought there was a problem,
Yeah.
obviously there's a problem with erosion and leaving the site, and let's see where that's gonna lead.
I just
Right now,
wanted to
it's
bring
a
it to the attention that it's probably 10 times worse now than it was at the beginning of the summer. There's nothing left in there. If there's a couple of gallons of water, that's it.
And of course, all the froggies that were
They're
there are
gone.
long since gone, yeah.
There used to be crawfish in there used to be
Oh, yeah.
frogs and minnows and everything, and it's completely dead. And I mean, some of the water is actually like a stagnant coffee brown.
Good mosquito brewing area.
Well, and that's when the mosquito control came down.
Yep.
But I mean, I don't think we, as the association, should have to be responsible to clean that out. It's not our debris, it's coming from the construction up top.
We'll see what Nate has to say about this, because he's the enforcement officer for that sort of thing.
I'm gonna try and bring them out there so that we can kind of put everybody's head together.
Yeah.
See if we can.
And
do
I
something.
can't remember what her name is, but the girl came out from mosquito control, walked back there and said that they were gonna try to get up here October, November, but with the whole Triple E thing, it's put everything else in the back burner.
Yeah, yeah.
In my opinion, it's gonna have to be dethatched, cleared, and they're gonna have to clear that trench so it flows properly and re-dig that out. There is a pipe that crosses over from that side of the property under the road to the opposite side of the road, and all that has to be cleaned out too. And I think that's part of what they were gonna do. Because there is a drain pipe that goes from the right side to the left side, drains down the road. And when Horde owned the property on the corner, he built it up about 3 feet and rebanked it, so now it goes between the two houses, which is the right of way for the other association.
Okay.
Remember we had that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So that's where the water is now going, so now that's all swamp.
Okay.
So it all leads back to
That same,
all the runoff from up top.
that same problem.
Yeah. And it's just getting worse.
Well, it did get somewhat better when they put the culverts under the driveways. At least that helped the upper portion. But now it's the cumulative effect of all the others.
Now
plus the new-
it's flowing
the new lot.
just more down to us.
Yeah. So we'll do what we can to.
That's all we can ask for. I mean, like I said, we've already spent money to clear and widen the road and make access so it's a little safer, vision-wise. But now we have this issue which could cost, tens of thousands of dollars to fix. Which, the association didn't create, it's just a
No.
end result of the construction above.
It sounds like a combination of construction above and a little bit of this construction that you had said the Horde guy maybe changed the topography.
Well, no,
a little bit.
that's more draining down the road. Now it's coming around the corner. That's why I do what I did last time with the gravel. When I took out all the leaves and put the gravel in, I fixed that problem. So now that drains into the pond correctly. I mean, we can't make the guy, it's built up like a foot over the road now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was done 10 years ago.
So
No,
we
it's
get this
in
on the
Moana.
agenda for the next meeting to get an update and
Yes,
talk about it?
we definitely do, because, like I said, the permit's under review, and there are places where the the erosion control needs some maintenance. It's overflowing and
Who's
just
doing the
contributing.
construction?
Maroni?
Yeah.
I mean, there were times where the water was literally flowing under the hay bales,
Under the-
right across
Oh, yeah,
the road.
there are gaps like this.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, when this silt fence is compromised, you can give them a stop work order
If,
until
if need be.
they
Those are our
repair
last
that.
resort,
I
yeah.
mean, even if you threatened the stop work order, I think that would make them act pretty quickly to repair
Do
the
something.
erosion control.
Yeah, that's why I want to bring.
Get Nate out
into it.
there. Yep.
And give me a call if you do, because
Okay.
I shoot right across the street.
Yeah, just don't leave your keys this time.
I shall not. I solved that problem.
Yeah.
You know how I solved that problem? See that outline right there?
Yeah.
Extra key.
That's not the chip key, but it'll get me into the vehicle.
And now the whole world knows you have it. So we'll get back to you, hopefully as soon as our next meeting.
Okay, I mean, Joe can let me know and I'll come and do whatever we gotta do.
All right.
But like I said, I know mosquito control is gonna try to help, but I think that's kind of a non-issue at this point with
Yeah, for
everything
now.
else that's going on, so.
Yeah.
But I think that's kinda gotta get addressed before we get into the rainy season and stuff, and
And
it's,
snow melt.
yeah, it's not gonna hold, it's not gonna do what it's supposed to do.
Well, nothing perks through this stuff. All
No.
the fines just clog everything up.
No, all it's gonna do is fill up
Flood the road.
Well, that, and it's gonna fill up the culvert
Yep, yep.
and ruin the pipes. And then go down into Mrs. Hero's yard and clog her up. But appreciate the time.
Okay, thank you for
coming in.
coming in. Good luck. We'll be talking to you.
Enforcement order,
Yeah, it's looking that way.
Crooked Lane.
What's his name?
I was just saying the next thing on the list was the enforcement order for
Oh, okay.
Crooked Lane, the Ranger.
Well, no, that was a, E&F,
Yeah.
What is that?
environmental notification form. It was just state people were there.
While I get organized, why don't you fill us in on what we observed on our little site walk?
Is that the solar farm?
Yeah, well, across the street.
by the
Oh,
solar
all
farm.
right. Were they trying to put a subdivision in so far?
What day was that, last week that we went?
Last week.
Wednesday, I think. The state came out from MIPA to review the project. I don't know if you realize there are five new homes going in along that stretch of the road. The one has started.
Yeah, they evidently got some kind of emergency
Relief?
cert
Yeah.
to do that.
To do the first one because it was a hardship.
Yeah, and it was
Building a new house? with
as
that?
far
Holding
away.
it up, the
Yeah,
schedule.
it was at the far edge of the property, so they were less concerned about that and the cumulative effect of the other four. It is turtle habitat, and they didn't see that there would be any particular problem with it. We hiked around all the area. There is a low area, somewhat low. I don't think I've ever seen water standing there at any time. And did Chris say it was pretty decent permeable soil, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They had very good perks there, so.
Yeah,
So
there's no-
but they'll have a great view of the solar.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, you look out over the top, especially that first lot, the one that's
Up
built in the side of the
on
hill.
Top of the hill, that's a beautiful site over there. You get some nice breeze through
Yeah.
there. There was a news item, the environmental people in the state of Maryland just denied Georgetown University permission to put in a 221 acre solar farm. Now, think of 221 acres. And the reason they denied them is because it's all forest.
Oh,
They'd have to cut down 221 acres
Wow.
of trees. And yes, we could like the electricity, but on the other hand, oxygen is good too, so, you know.
So what was the outcome of this site visit with the environmental folks?
We saw no real problems there.
Yeah, we didn't have,
Yeah.
there are no wetlands
No wetlands.
on or nearby
Right,
even.
yeah.
Well, what about their opinion? If it is box turtle, they don't need wetlands, that's upland.
Yeah, there's upland. They had no concerns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are accepting comments, questions and comments up until the 17th, I think, of this month. And by the end of the month, they are gonna issue their findings.
Yeah.
But she didn't expect there was gonna be
Nope.
any problem, no.
Okay.
Is there a concrete plant behind it too? Isn't it some
No, that's
kind
way
of-
out
Is it?
on the other side of LeBaron.
Yeah, that's,
Oh, all right,
yeah, that's,
yeah.
it's quite a ways away. It's
What am I
the ways
thinking of?
down the street.
Fern Ave,
Yeah, yeah,
those are the folks that squawked over there.
Yeah.
That's on the other side.
So this is just an update, doesn't require any action by the board
No,
tonight?
just FYI,
Okay,
just know what
good to know.
we've been doing to keep ourselves
Yeah, we
busy.
got the notice and the notice was officially printed in the Standard Times and, you know, we got in on it. And they got hold of us to come and take a look.
What's this, 310 Kenneth Welch?
Yeah. That address sound familiar at all? This is the file. There was, we previously had an NOI on this site, and the planning board has asked us to review the proposal for modifications to the building to see if we had any issues. So if anyone wants to,
Now, what was 310? Is that
310 is the cold storage place. This-
the addition,
Yeah, there's like 3 buildings together that are
all cold storage, yeah.
right,
Yeah.
What addition?
that are gonna be converted for,
What addition?
For the pot, right?
right.
There's no addition, it's all outfit the existing.
Yeah, it's all,
Change of
yeah,
parking. The biggest impact would be the change of parking.
Was that it?
yeah.
Oh, were they gonna put the septic system under the parking lot or something like that?
There was gonna be a third septic system.
Part of it, yeah. So they're changing the parking. In reviewing it, my only concerns were, what are they gonna do with the snow with all that parking area?
Yep.
Because the whole rear portion of the property is all wetlands, and wetlands right up, almost right up to the building, or to the roadway. So there is really no place to push the snow without pushing it into the wetland. And I noticed there are some trash compactors in the back of the building, but they're not shown in the plans.
And they changed that somewhere along the line too, to either larger or smaller or different location or something like that.
But they're distinguishing, obviously, 2 kinds of trash. Trash associated with marijuana,
Yep.
which is going to be removed and sent to their other facility for disposal. So you don't have to worry about that. But lost my train of thought.
Marijuana.
It's the smoke. The non-marijuana trash would go into those dumpsters, but it doesn't say where on the plan. So that's my other concern.
So are you gonna note that to the planning
Yes.
board? Yeah, okay.
So no actual additions, it's just reusing.
It's all
reutilising
internal, I think.
Oh, okay.
The existing.
It's right around the corner from you, huh?
Well, I've seen this on planning board,
Yeah, yep.
and every time I see it, it's a different plan. Some have additional parking areas. This is no longer cold storage, it's a different marijuana tenant.
So should they give us an updated plan?
Well, at our last planning board meeting, we said we're not approving it because we never had a hearing on this tenant, so take that off the plan. So maybe this is a re-updated plan, because it's only been Nature's Remedy and now the Monroe Dispensary,
Right.
which requires all the parking here. But we didn't want to vote on a plan that showed additional parking, and we vote to approve, and we never had a proper hearing for a said third tenant. So I just kind of chuckle at that. I just keep seeing a different plan every time I see it, but.
But you have another hearing, this
Yeah,
Thursday, I
on
think?
Thursday, this will be
It's just-
revisited.
It's just for any comments from us, right?
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that,
Is there
you
any
know, Bob
wetlands
made a
involved?
good point.
Oh, yeah, you
Yeah,
said.
there's-
Oh, yeah, it's right up to the edge of the building.
There's wetlands right up
Yeah.
in here and all around here. This is supposed to be an open fire lane
Yeah,
to allow access around the building, which I guess is overgrown pretty good. They keep
Yeah, it's
commenting on that.
It's very narrow, there's no room for.
Try and get fire trucks around the building. But Bob made a good point about where they're gonna push the snow, and it's just gonna go into the wetlands. So I don't know if that's, I mean, that's added space, I think. I don't think that's existing pavement, or if it is, I'm not sure. But I mean, that certainly could be a comment to them that we have concerns and that they should leave a 25-foot buffer for snow removal from the edge of pavement, just to allow for not having salt and sand go into the wetlands.
Okay,
And it's more of a recommendation.
right.
That's all they're looking for from us. It's not a formal hearing, but.
Yeah. I think that is it for agenda items, unless anyone has,
motion to adjourn.
We had no minutes, right?
no minutes. And I don't have a date for our next meeting.
We're not
Question under old
Yes.
business,
Yes?
did Mrs. Caleri get hold of you? I left you a note on your desk.
Oh, is that what the name is? I couldn't make it out. I saw the note.
Okay.
Fourth?
Yeah, 24th? That's not a,
That's the next one?
yeah,
That chronologically would be the next
Yeah,
one, if
right.
you have
if we have things.
material.
I think we have one in the wings. So the 24th for the next one. So you're talking about Southworth.
Yes, yeah.
We talked about this a little bit last time. And I think I told you that I was in touch with the engineer who did the remediation plan, and he kind of waved us off and said he wasn't involved anymore. But what he did say was that he was gonna send an email to the owner recommending that he meet with us with a progress report. So I gave him 2 weeks, and the 2 weeks is up. So what I'm gonna be doing is now sending a letter
Yep.
stating,
Yep.
we're coming,
Yep.
we're gonna have an inspection.
Yep.
And if he denies us, then we're gonna go back to the state. and-
Yeah. Because I guess.
Because we need a progress report.
Yeah, he was working back there.
Yeah. So, that's the status,
That's Southworth Street.
that's Southworth,
Yeah.
right?
Good stuff.
Alright.
So will the next meeting be at 7?
As long as there's not another
Oh, yeah, as long as
election.
there's not another election.
The next, well, there is in November, but it's not on Tuesday.
Right.
So we have a motion and a second. You wanna take a vote?
Oh, all right. All in favor?
You never know how the vote's gonna turn out.
Yeah, we got an official counter here,
Yes?
All right, so
so,
I'm a yay.
I mean, yay.
It's unanimous, I think.
yeah, I think it's good. Let the record reflect.
Motion carries, and the meeting is over.